Well, hey, how are you? This is Aaron McKay with Bird Be Gone, joining you for another installment of Bird Be Gone Ask an Expert. Really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. And I am with Mr. Scott Swanson and Mr. Mike Dougherty. How are you guys doing?
So good. So happy
really
to be
good.
here again.
Thank you.
So good.
Thanks, Aaron.
Wow. Why do you say so good? That's a really positive response.
Well, I think today we're going to talk about some pretty cool stuff. And it's one of the reasons why, I'm still Bird Be Gone after 22 years. So I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, so today we are talking about a subject that's near and dear to all of our hearts. I think it's one of the things that keeps me personally coming back is we have the honor of coming alongside companies, not just on a project by project basis, but over the years, and see where they've begun their journey with bird control and where that journey has brought them. And you guys are the elder, wiser, more better looking statesmen compared to me. So what are some of your favorite stories when you look over kind of the wake of your career here at Bird Be Gone? What makes you really, really proud as far as coming alongside people that grow their business?
Yeah, it's funny, and I don't remember the quote, but I share it sometimes when I teach my Bird Be Gone University courses. It's success in life is what good you can do for others.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's super simple, but I mean, really, I think we talked about it in another episode. Just serving, and there's no greater joy than taking a guy that might be struggling for whatever reason. He's got a family and kids, and he loses his job as a route technician for a pest control company or whatever, or maybe he just wants something more. And then to have that opportunity to help them achieve that, it's just awesome. It's very cool. And I think we've all got, like you said, our share of, well, really, it's not even customers. It's just friends who we've helped along their journey in life to help provide for them and their families. So it's pretty cool.
Yep. How about you, Mike? Any stories jump to mind for you?
One of them, years ago, my buddy Brian out there in Vegas. I remember him calling me on the first bird job. He was like, I don't know what's this about, and he got him on the phone and talked him through it, and over the course of 20 years ago, we're still friends. He comes out here with his kid and his wife, and they stay at my place, and he goes to his kids' basketball tournaments, and he's grown his business that he took over from his father out there, and he's got several employees now, and they're out there doing the bird work as well. So it's been really, really neat to see him grow and prosper and have other people, that he's paying that have families as well. And, I'm friends with those guys as well. It's nice. So watching that growth is what we come back for, kind of, as we talked about in that the other meeting.
Yeah. Well, we all know Kevin too, right?
Yeah,
Kevin is another really great story. He was a technician for a company who was acquired by a bigger company. Mm-hmm. Never heard that before.
No,
right?
that's
never know.
really weird.
But things changed, and so he found himself at a point where he was going to do some stuff, and it just worked out with through our support. He's now got a great pest control business that does a heck of a lot of bird control, and it's been fun. He's moved into a new house. We've seen this, and he's become a great friend. We fish together. So I don't know if you guys know, but I got a humble little boat.
Still waiting.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But Kevin and I, we actually haven't been on the boat together, but we've been out on the water together. But it's just stuff like that. I mean, and I could share stories like Kevin all across the country. Truly from New York. Paul was in a similar situation. Good friend Paul. And, hey, went fishing with Paul recently, too, as a matter of fact. That's right. Yeah. So I see a theme, right?
It's a trend.
Right, yeah, it's a trend.
I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah. So, but these guys they stay friends, right? Yeah. And there's a genuine, a real, genuine concern we have for helping these guys. And to see them, buy houses, have kids, and help improve their lives, even if it's just some small way. It makes it all worth it. So it's really been a blessing for me.
Yeah,
and my family, really. I mean, we've developed a lot of family friends. So
yeah. It's awesome. Well, I think the quote that jumped out to me, maybe a paraphrase or a quote that I've heard, and I think it's something that really connects a lot of the personalities and people that are part of the Bird Be Gone family. I think there is this element or orientation towards service. And I think one of the things that has been impactful for me is this concept that the quality of one's life is measured not by what you get, by what you give. And I think the ethos or the cultural undercurrent present here at Bird Be Gone is really that. Everyone that it's answering the phones every single day, if it's Alan, Chris, Billy, Sean, Mike, Scott, Brian, or myself. Am I missing anyone? There's a lot of us.
Probably.
Alan, you got Alan, okay.
Yeah, literally the reason we answer those calls is so we can support the person on the phone, equip them to more effectively and more profitably do their business. So it's been really, really fun. So Mike, any other stories that jump out for you? Just cool success stories or inspirational stories?
There's the smaller guys, there's the bigger guys, the medium-sized guys, and another one out in Don out there in Phoenix. Went out and checked out some of his jobs several years ago. He was just starting out, and he was showing them off. And there were some things that needed correcting, but that's okay. He appreciated it, and he learned from the advice that I'd given him to help fix, do netting jobs even better. I mean, there's always a learning curve to doing those things, and seeing them, maybe they made a mistake, but they learned from it and grew from it. Yeah. And I think now he's doing tons of bird work out there in Phoenix, as are a lot of people. Yeah. But he's really thrived. He also does bees out there too. But his bird work has been very, very, very good to him and his family.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting too is that a lot of times, guys will get into bird work. Yeah. And it's hard sometimes. I mean, because you're in bird poop, and there's a you're cleaning, and it can be hard, and it always kind of has a way to suck you back in. I've got a good friend up in, he was in Northern California, and same kind of thing, worked at a pest control company, left to go to do his own bird control, and we've helped him, and he just got a little burnout, I think, of the whole thing. So he moved to rural Oregon. Oh. Happens that rural Oregon has pigeons, has bird problems. So it's he'd see my number pop up, and he knew one of the services we provide are leads for our customers. Yeah, yeah. So people will call us, I've got a bird problem, can you send somebody to help me? And so anytime that he saw a number calling from our area code, he would know he'd know it was me. But yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's just one of those things where it becomes a little infectious, I think. If once you start helping these people, you want to keep at it, and there are a whole bunch of great stories like Randy up in Oregon. But it's just it snowballs. It keeps going.
So as you guys have helped and support individuals grow their businesses through the years, what are the things that set apart the companies that end up getting on that trajectory towards success? Because there's probably some qualities that are consistent as you've seen it play out again and again over the years.
Well, that's a great question, and I don't know about Mike, but for me, it really just has, I think, fear has a lot to do with it. It's this is something that some guys have never experienced. They don't know anything about birds or bird behavior. Yep. They don't know how to charge somebody to handle a bird job. I mean, so they're afraid of either losing money or not being able to help their customer. So, I think for me, the guys that either, I don't want to say are, don't care about that, but just that lack that fear are the guys that usually end up, and also guys that can take help, because as men, a lot of times it's like, man, I can do it. Right. I don't need Scott's help, and I'm guilty of that as well sometimes. But I've found that if guys allow us to help them and educate them and be there for them, and they're not afraid to jump into it, it's a great service for people, and it's a great way for them to help their customers.
Yeah, I think you summed that up pretty good there. I mean, it's not being afraid to jump into the fire or into the ocean or whatever it may be. Yeah. You got to take that step, and I was trying to calm him down. I was like, hey, you took the step to jump into termite or general pest and stuff like that. It's just adding that extra service, and that adds to your revenue stream over there. You look back on it and kind of say, hey, start easy, do 1 a month, and then take it to 2, and then look back on it after you've done a few, and you realize, yeah, I am successful at it. It's, again, it can be scary, but one of the things I always tell people, call us. We can look stuff up on Google Earth. It's like we're there. Boom.
Yep.
I remember when I started back, Scott, you remember they'd have to take pictures, get them developed, and mail them to you. Nowadays, I'm like, hey, what's the address? Boom. Hey, I'm standing there like you are.
Yep.
It's been a fantastic tool that I somehow discovered, or somebody discovered, to use this for our bird control to help people, and that's and obviously that's what people are calling in for, and that's why we're here.
That's good. So I think maybe some of the character traits I picked up from you sharing, Scott, and you sharing, Mike, is a fearlessness, maybe a willingness to take risks, a humility, a willingness to ask for help, and then grit. So when things are tough or you're up to your knees in bird poop, you don't give up, because you realize when that roof is clean and everything's installed and your customer is satisfied, you get paid, and those birds meanwhile are flying off to your next customer. So now imagine, if you can, you're talking to that guy that's on the fence. Maybe he's a technician or route operator or whatever, and he's been thinking about it. He's been thinking about it for the last several months or the last year. Everywhere I go, I see birds. No one's really addressing them in our market or area. What would you encourage him or her to be their next step?
Well, it's an interesting question, and I don't, I'm not encouraging people to quit their job, right? To leave. I mean, they don't need to.
Yeah.
Let's use Kevin again. I mean, or any route technician for a pest control operator.
Yep.
I would have a hard time imagining if he went to his boss and said, hey, look, I'd like to do some birds. There's customers on my route that have bird problems.
Yep.
Maybe somebody's asked him about it. Maybe he's just identified it. I don't think that there are many people that are going, you know what? I don't want you to do that.
Yeah, no more business.
No more business. I don't want to grow my business.
I don't want to make more money.
So they don't necessarily need to leave.
Sure.
I mean, maybe there's a way where, they sell this and do the install and they get a commission or whatever. So I think there are multiple ways that people can be successful and, improve their livelihoods, if you will, or whatever, without, getting canned or, leaving their job.
So what is that next step, though, for that person that's considering taking that risk and either starting something new or having that tough conversation or challenging conversation with
Well, I'm going to simplify the heck out of it, and it's just to call Mike Dougherty at his home on the weekends, and and he can help you.
Yeah, I'm going to flash his cell phone number.
I've taken calls on the weekend.
No, but I mean, truly, I mean, it can be that simple. Call Aaron. Hey, Aaron, I've got a bird problem. I've got a customer. I don't know anything about anything. What should I do?
Yeah.
And, there's many things we could do. Maybe they truly, for whatever reason, they can't help them because they just don't have the time or the resources or whatever. But we can put them in touch with somebody that can, maybe. They can even partner up with somebody. I mean, there are a lot of different options to accomplish these goals.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
So what would you encourage someone with that's on the precipice of I want to jump in?
The fence, usually it starts with, hey, I keep getting bird calls, and call us. That's the first step, is to call us, to make that step and jump in that direction and ask our advice. That's first thing. Just like they started their business, they made that step to break away from that bigger company they might have been working for, and take that into account. I mean, they've already started their own business. They got their own business. Opening up that revenue stream is key. And helping to. I always say, hey, it's you're protecting your clientele by offering that service as well.
Yep.
Because there's maybe somebody else who's doing bird work and may make that conversation start.
Yep.
So it's again, calling us. That's the first step, and we'll guide you in the right direction, down the right path.
Yeah. And I think maybe a final comment, and then you guys can piggyback off of it if you want. I think in general, the bird control industry is a growing segment, and I think a lot of that is tied to increasing public sensitivity to health concerns. right? So in general, bird control is untapped, and maybe you are in the pest control industry or in the wildlife industry, and you might have a consistent route or a consistent area of town where you're providing services. Do like Scott has said it in an earlier podcast. Look down while you're on your routes, because a lot of your existing customers probably have bird control problems right now. So the likelihood of you having to go and build an entirely new business, it's just not reality. The business is there in front of you. If you want to step in, take that risk, ask for help, and demonstrate some grit, and then maybe we'll be on the podcast here in a year, having an interview with you talking about your story. And at the end of the day, that's why we get up every single day and do what we do, because we get to partner with you guys as your lives grow, mature, and find more success. So any party comments?
No, I think you nailed it. But it's not just for the guys that are maybe doing bird work. There could be a guy out there right now who's watching this and going, man, I don't, I've got my building and I can't afford to pest control guys, but I still got bird problems, and it makes sense.
Oh, great.
We can still help those guys too.
Sure.
And I think we've got to just make sure that whatever resource somebody needs, they know that we can help them with that. Whatever they need, we can help them. So it's not just the guys, installing it. It's the guys, in an earlier podcast we talked about FSMA and there's a lot of do-it-yourselfers out there too. For sure. And for whatever reason, whether it's financial or whatever.
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't know how to do that. I'm just gonna go ahead and YouTube it.
That's my daughter.
Yeah, absolutely.
My daughter says that all the time. Just YouTube it.
but you know what I'm getting at. It's
for sure.
It's the pigeons, birds are everywhere. Problems are everywhere, and I think Bird Begun is set up to help those people. Whatever their situation, their circumstance may be.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Anything from me, Mike?
I think you kind of touched on something that I touch on at whenever I do a class or talk to people. I ask them, how many buildings does your company service every day?
Yeah.
And whatever that number is, depends on the size of the company. I said, you can probably take a good gander at look at it and say you probably got 15 to 20% of those customers that you touch every day or every month, whatever that may be. Yeah. 15 to 20% of them already have a bird problem, because people ask, like, where do I start looking? I mean, look in your customers, look for the owl, look for the fake hawk, that kind of stuff. But it's seeing them, you see the wheels start turning, and people are like, oh yeah, probably, that's right. You see them that they could remember where they saw maybe a bird problem and hadn't really thought about it.
Yep.
Again, like I said, look up, look down. That's bird problems are a lot easier to see than a roach problem or a termite or anything like that, but look within the people you already have a contact with.
Yep, that's good. And I think wherever you sit in relationship to the spectrum of bird control, maybe you're the end user, you own the building, or you are in the pest control wildlife industry. If you don't know what to do, give us a shout. You're going to call and you're going to get an expert bird control specialist. And I'm surrounded by him, and I have the opportunity to work with him every single day. You'll get the information you need to solve your problem. So appreciate it, guys. Thanks for joining us for another session.
Always a pleasure.
We'll
see you next time.
Thanks.